I'm Floyd Rosini, and welcome back to my house. In the last video, I told you I would be working on this piece of furniture, and I'd show you how to do polishing with it with my furniture preservative and Rejuvenator. And so let's jump right into it. This is a really easy polishing method. Wipe on, wipe off. Doesn't get any easier than that. Let's hop in. Okay, so the first thing we do is, remember I told you that you can save the cloth in a jar. And so here it is, it's in the jar. You want to make sure you put your gloves on first. Once you have your gloves on, then you can take the cloth out of the bottle. Notice I keep a little brush in here also. That's so I can get into all the little grooves in the corners in case my rag doesn't get there. So I'll be watching that while I actually do the polishing. I'm going to put this aside, put the brush up here. I'm going to load up the cheesecloth. You want to get it pretty wet, but not dripping. And one of the things you do while you're doing this, you really look over your furniture as you're doing this, so you find any scratches or damages, dents, cracks, things that you're going to want to repair later on. This is going to open your eyes to see it. So while you're applying the Rejuvenator, you're really inspecting the furniture at the same time. That way, after you get it oiled off, you can come back and you can take care of those little repairs. You can either fill it in with a soft stick, like we're going to do a little bit later in here. You can do a little bit of touch-up, either with a marker, or you can mix the color yourself. We're going to mix some color. I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're going to start. I'm going to put a little bit more oil on here. We're just going to oil this right off. And I want you to really take a look at this, because when we're done, it doesn't take that long. It's going to have a totally different look. I took some still pictures of it earlier, and when I'm finished, I'll take a couple more stills so you'll be able to see the difference. It's really going to be beautiful. Okay? So let's start. This is where I can use the brush. Especially up in here, little details like this where you can't get the cloth in so easy, the brush really comes in handy here. I'm seeing a couple of things, a couple of light spots that are going to have to get touched up later on. One of the things you want to make sure you do is you open the drawer, catch that top edge and the sides, bottom edge. When you want to get around the hardware, use your brush. That way it'll get in to all those places where your cloth doesn't make it. Open the door, catch the top edge, side. Now, this is a painted piece of furniture, obviously. However, you can do this on any piece of furniture, whether it's paint, whether it's a natural finish, whether it's a stained finish, it doesn't matter. The Rejuvenator will not hurt it. The Rejuvenator is compatible with antique type finishes and as well as modern finishes. So what it does is it helps to break down some of the waxes that might be on there that you want to clean off. It cleans some of the dirt off. It's got a couple of mild solvents in it. Nice fragrance. Got a little bit of a, I love it. I've been smelling it for 50 years. Been making it for that long. It smells great. I really enjoy it. Feels like, smells clean. there's a little spot here. I'm going to touch that up. There's some marks in here. And clean it right up. That's good. What I like to do is I like to get a little bit of the oil on around the hardware first, and then take the brush and push it in around it. That way, you don't miss anything, and you have plenty of moisture to push in around the hardware. It makes a big difference when you clean right up into around the hardware. Otherwise, it's going to be dull and flat around there, and it's not going to look good. So I'll do this hardware first, and then come back and finish off the drawers. Always keep a piece of cardboard, paper, whatever it is, to help you control your polishing. Sometimes you make a little bit of a mess. You want to make sure you control that. You know, the first job I had when I was working with my grandfather was oiling off. He showed me, he taught me how to do it. Get a little bit more on the cloth. See, it has a really nice squeeze top. Okay, change the angle on the camera so we can do the side. Put a little more Rejuvenator on there. And last we do the top. I'm going to move the camera again so you can get a really good look at it and see what it looks like. So you can see how it brought out the colors. The colors look great. They look saturated. They just really come to life, and they give you much more dimension. It looks beautiful. And so what I'm going to do now is wipe off the excess, and then we're going to come and do some repairs. I'm going to bring the camera in nice and close so you can see how we do these repairs. So wiping off the excess is actually pretty easy. You just take a fresh, clean cheesecloth wipe, you make a pad out of it, and then you just wipe it off. Watch this. It's really simple. You don't have to worry about getting all of it off, because what will happen is whatever little bit gets left on there, it's going to absorb in, and it'll keep the furniture looking moisturized. It'll keep it looking great for maybe a month or 6 weeks. This is a kind of a maintenance issue. It's like any other piece of furniture that you're going to have to polish. The more you do it, the better it looks and the better it stays. So if you do this, it'll look good for a while. Doesn't hurt the paint. Doesn't hurt the paint at all. Once it gets a little bit moist on one part of the pad, you want to make sure you turn it to get a fresh face so that it absorbs it in nicely. And that's it. Only takes a few minutes. Okay, see that crack right there? We're going to fill that. We're going to use a soft wax filler stick. I'm going to show you how to use that. You take the stick and you rub it across the damage, and that starts to fill it in. You just keep rubbing it across until you see it get filled in. It's filling it in. You have to turn the stick to get a little sharp edge on the crack so that it does fill it in. You want to make sure to keep turning that stick around so you get a sharp edge up top. Okay, I got a little bit of a flashlight here so you can see it. And you can see now that that's all filled in. And now we take a little soft cloth and we wipe off the excess. And now that's filled in. You don't really see that anymore. That's a nice job. Okay, so once you finish oiling it off, you can take your cloth and you can put it back in a jar. One of the things that is really good about the Rejuvenator is it's not combustible. It's not gonna heat up and burn. There's no combustion involved in this. Even if you left the rag out, it wouldn't catch on fire. It's not that kind of oil. Usually that's linseed oil that does that. That polymerizes, starts to get hot and could cause a fire. But this is not like that. This is just a nice polish. Gives you a great look, moisturizes the finish, and keeps the wood looking great. So remember, no spontaneous combustion with this. You will not have that happen. I've been using it for a long, long time, and it's not even an afterthought. So now I have the color box. I'm going to mix up some colors so I can touch up the corners, so I can touch up some of the white spots that I found while I was oiling off. Okay, I'm going to probably do a couple of them so get the camera in close so you can see how I do it. That way you'll see how it gets touched up. I usually take a 220 piece of sandpaper and I make a sandpaper cup out of it. Put your thumb in the center of it, pull it up, twist it around, make yourself a little cup. This is my rocket pad. It's a pre-mixed French polish. And so this is actually a finish. So when it goes on, it stays on, it's permanent. We'll mix some color and start with a little bit of orange and some perfect brown. Can you see that color? Yep, you can. I'm gonna bring in the camera close. Okay, see these little white dots right here? Those are what I'm going to touch up. But we're going to just touch this up. And that disappears. And there are a few spots like that. There's some on the drawer here. See that right in there? I'm just going to touch that up too. Okay, so you get the idea. I'm going to go around and touch up a few more things. Okay, the proof is in the tasting, so let me call my wife, see how she likes it. Hey, Judith?
Huh?
Want to come in and take a look at this? What do you think?
Wow. It looks awesome. What a difference. What else can you do?
There you go.
I love it.
What else can you do? That's what I get.